Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Prasyata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parikacharya अष्टोत्तर divine grace AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अष्टोत्तर divine grace भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोधाम की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय मायापुर नदी धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा मई जमुना मई की जय तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to Guru and Gauranga.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Today we're starting with Srimad Bhagavatam 4:21-24.
Yes.
Is that right? Thank you.
Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, I'll begin with 24. Ya Udaret Karam Raja Praja Dharmesh Ashikshayan Prajanam Samalam Bhunkte Bhagam Cha Svam Jahati Sa. Translation. Any king who does not teach his citizens about their respective duties in terms of varna and ashrama, but who simply exacts tolls and taxes from them, is liable to suffer for the impious activities which have been performed by the citizens. In addition to such degradation, the king also loses his own fortune. Purport. A king, governor, or president should not take the opportunity to occupy his post without also discharging his duty. He must teach the people within the state how to observe the divisions of varna and ashrama. If a king neglects to give such instructions and is simply satisfied with levying taxes, then those who share in the collection, namely all the government servants and the head of the state, are liable to share in the impious activities of the general masses. The laws of nature are very subtle. For example, if one eats in a place which is very sinful, he shares in the resultant reaction of the sinful activities performed there. It is a Vedic system, therefore, for a householder to call Brahmanas and Vaishnavas to eat at ceremonial performances in his house, because the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas can immunize him from sinful activities. But it is not the duty of rigid Brahmanas and Vaishnavas to accept invitations everywhere. There is, of course, no objection to taking part in feasts in which prasad is distributed. There are many subtle laws which are practically unknown to people in general, but the Krishna consciousness movement is very scientifically distributing all this Vedic knowledge for the benefit of the people of the world. I don't have any comments. Would anybody here like to comment? Mahesh Pandit Prabhu, Panchatattva Prabhu, and others?
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Mahesh. Go ahead.
Okay. So in this verse, Prabhupada is saying that the king should teach people in general about Varna and Ashram. Varna being student life, then family life, then retirement, and then finally the sannyas. And ashram meaning four ashrams there, which is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So the population should know all these things about it. It's king's duty to inform general mass of people. They can levy the tax, but also side by side, they should do that. Otherwise, they are liable to share in the impious activities of general masses. And whenever we have some function or gathering at our place, we should invite Vaishnavas or devotees to attend so they can immunize or make it less sinful. Or they can what do you call sanctify the place. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So we can go further.
Mustafa, Prabhu, would you like to comment? We'd like to hear from you, Prabhu.
Sure. So Prita Maharaj is reiterating what has been heard prior from Lord Vishnu himself regarding this duty and responsibility of the king. And just by repeating those instructions, he has emphasized how he is fixed in doing that, carrying out that obligation to the citizens. Nowadays, well, anyway, in Kali Yuga, someone who ascends to a high post where he's a leader of many people or president or a king or prime minister, there's a tendency to want to simply enjoy the benefits of having that post, even to the point of exploiting the citizens. But Prita Maharaj, of course, is pointing out here that if you do that, if you don't discharge your obligations, you're going to be in a lot of trouble in terms of the karmic reactions of the citizenry. Because if you neglect your duties to seeing to the welfare of the citizens, their impious karma is going to be visited upon you. If they're not guided properly, if they fall from this system of varna and ashram into various, sinful activities, then you're going to have to bear a portion of the responsibility for that. And Prita Maharaj underscores it with that last line. In addition to such degradation, the king also loses his own fortune. So, it's a heavy responsibility. It's not something to be taken lightly. I was also thinking about how the king teaches the citizens. It's not that the king has a classroom and brings the citizens in 30 students by 30 students. There's in the system for Varnas, there's the Brahminical class. So it's also implied here that the king is making sure that the Brahmanas are performing their duties nicely and educating the citizens properly as to their various as for their own benefit, spiritually and materially. And interesting that Prabhupada talks about, he's emphasizing as an example that how subtle the laws of karma are. We take it that I think, oh, karma means you go out and you kill an animal and unnecessarily you're going to get a reaction for that. But there are all kinds of finer points regarding karma, and Prabhupada gives this point about eating. He says, if you eat in a place which is degraded, you have to share in the impious reactions of that place in general. So, and then he says, and for this reason, householders would call Brahmanas and Vaishnavas to eat at a ceremonial performance, so that the atmosphere would be sanctified and the benefits would come to them. So these things aren't known today, although they've become known in the Hare Krishna movement, and hence Srila Prabhupada's very strong emphasis on accepting only Krishna prasadam as one's meal, sanctified foodstuffs, offering, and then accepting the remnants. That's what I have. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So watch out for those restaurants and who sells meat and all that.
Oh.
So we have to watch.
Yeah, that's it. Should take this seriously. It's these subtle laws of nature aren't just some sort of ritual prohibitions. They're actually, There actually is action and reaction going on in these different ways, and Prabhupada's given some good advice here to be very careful and accept only Krishna Prasadam and keep the association of Vaishnavas. Then you're in a safe place. Hare Krishna.
We have something in the chat. Bernali Mataji writes, Hare Krishna, isn't it we can purify the food by offering it to the Lord? If yes, then why does it matter where the prasadam is consumed?
Mahesh,
Okay,
Mahesh, go ahead.
Yeah, I can answer that. Here the problem is not the prasadam. Problem is eating outside in a restaurant where meat is cooked and all that. So if you eat prasadam anywhere, doesn't matter. There is no reaction for that. Okay. Did you hear anything from Maharaj?
Oh, yeah, should have mentioned. I have not heard anything. I can check though my device to see if I have a new message, but
okay,
I
no
have
problem.
no information about Guru Maharaj's whereabouts. And
I would also add that in this case, we read closely where Prabhupada's talking about this in this purport. He says, the laws of nature are very subtle. For example, if one eats in a place which is very sinful, he shares in the resultant reaction of the sinful activities performed there. That's emphasizing that the location actually is important. It's not stated here specifically that you're out there eating boga and you're eating some nonsense food, but the idea is implied there that you're eating in a place where sinful activities are being performed, and this is not very appropriate. It's not appropriate. If I, on a cruder level, if one associates with thieves, he becomes a thief. If one, we're all creatures of association, and there are laws of karma that apply in these instances, which may not necessarily be obvious, or which may not manifest their effects immediately, but over some time. So, I mean, if you look at classic Vedic India, when Brahmanas would be traveling, for example, I think Prabhupada gave that example. When they would be traveling, the Brahmanas would stop for the night, and as many Brahmanas there would be as many fires, because they're all cooking their own meals. Why? Why did they just have one cook doing the whole thing and then everybody's having a good time? No, they were very careful about these things because they understood the subtle laws of karma. So, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, would you like to take the next verse? Is it all right?
Sure. If you don't mind, Mahesh Pandit Prabhu, with your permission.
Please go ahead. Yeah. Okay. I'll be next. Yes. Thank you.
Tat praja bhatripindartham svartam evanashu yavaha krutadhokshaja diyas tarime nugraha kritaha. Prithu Maharaj continued, therefore, my dear citizens, for the welfare of your king after his death, you should execute your duties properly in terms of your positions of Varna and Ashrama, and should always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within your hearts. By doing so, you will protect your own interests, and you will bestow mercy upon your king for his welfare after death. Purport. The words adhokshaja diyaha, meaning Krishna consciousness, are very important in this verse. The king and citizens should both be Krishna conscious. The king and citizens should both be Krishna conscious. Otherwise, both of them will be doomed to lower species of life after death. A responsible government must teach Krishna consciousness very vigorously for the benefit of all. Without Krishna consciousness, neither the state nor the citizens of the state can be responsible. Prithu Maharaj therefore specifically requested the citizens to act in Krishna consciousness. And he was also very anxious to teach them how to become Krishna conscious. A summary of Krishna consciousness is given in Bhagavad Gita 9:27. Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kanteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you give in charity, and whatever penances you undergo should be done in Krishna consciousness, or for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If all the people of the state, including government servants, are taught the techniques of spiritual life, then although everyone is liable to be punished in different ways by the stringent laws of material nature, they will not be implicated. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Gurudasa Jayādvaita Swami Niti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharine Neversesha Shunivari Paschatya Desha Tarine. The Prita Maharaj continues his instructions. He's asking the citizens to carry out their duties according to their positions in the Varnashram system, and always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is the very essence of Krishna consciousness, thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, always Krishna, never forgetting him. And he's saying that the result of this is that you will protect your own interests as well as benefit your king for his welfare after death. So it's kind of it's also an interesting instruction that Prita Maharaj is giving, because he's already looking ahead to the fact when he's not going to be there anymore. There'll be another king, there'll be some other head of state coming after him. But he's indicating to them that they should continue with their Krishna conscious activities, or their offerings to Krishna of their, of all of their activities. Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhosi dadasi yat. Whatever you offer, whatever offering you make, whatever you give away, whatever austerities you perform, do them as an offering unto me, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada is pointing to this as the standard for Krishna consciousness for the general citizenry. This is what you do. And he's saying that the result will be, Prita Maharaj is saying that the result will be your own interests will be, how does it say, will be protected. They'll be protected. In other words, you'll be protected from the vicissitudes of karma and karmic reactions, which Prabhupada underscores at the end of the purport. That even though in the normal course of one's life, one gets implicated in all kinds of reactions. I can't walk outside into the backyard here in Florida without, who knows, killing how many fire ants in the grass. I can't even see them. Although some would say that they are an aggressor and probably should be treated as such. Nevertheless, there are innumerable living entities. One can't even draw a breath without accruing karma, let alone walk on the ground. So, and in the normal course of one's affairs, there are so many karmic reactions. Jayādvaita Swami, I was reading how he was writing about it in his book Vanity Karma, about how everything we do, when we draw a breath, what was he saying? As soon as you say something, as soon as you do everything you do, there's some reaction as a result, because the laws of karma are they're so automatic in one sense. Mm-hmm. They're so automatic from one life to the next. They go on automatically. Krishna's in the background, he explains in his commentary on chapter 6 of Vanity Karma. He's in the background, and these laws of nature are going on automatically. It's not that Krishna is reaching out when you do something wrong and giving you a whack in the head or slapping your wrist. Generally speaking, he doesn't do that. The laws of karma are going on. The material nature is working, and it's ultimately under his direction. So what's being said here by the king is, even though in the ordinary course of activities there may be karmic reactions, if you take up this spirit of remembering Krishna, how does he say it? always think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within your hearts, then those stringent laws of material nature will not implicate you, which is quite extraordinary. You know, quite extraordinary. Hare Krishna. Anyone else have anything? Mahesh Pandit?
Just like Bhakti Rasamrita says, always remember Krishna, never forget him. Okay.
Yes, Pandit Prabhu, can you take the next text?
And number 26,
Also,
yes.
I need to leave at 7:30 p.m. So in a few minutes, if you would be able to take hosting at that time, is that? Thanks, Prabhu.
That's
Oh,
our
yeah.
loss. That's our loss, Rasananda Prabhu.
Yeah, that's like our loss, yes.
I have a schedule here.
How can you put us through this? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
thank you, Hare Krishna. Number text 26. Yuyam tadanumodvatvam pitrudevasya yo malaha kartuhu shastra anujnatustas tulyam yat preyata tat phalam. I request all the pure-hearted demigods, forefathers, and saintly persons to support my proposal. For after death, the result of an action is equally shared by its doer, its director, and its supporter. Yeah, everybody shares that. The doer, the director, and the supporter. Purport. The government of Prithu Maharaj was perfect because it was administrated exactly according to the order of the Vedic injunction. Prithu Maharaj has already explained that the chief duty of the government is to see that everyone execute his respective duty and is elevated to the platform of Krishna consciousness. The government should be so conducted that automatically one is elevated to Krishna consciousness. King Prithu therefore wanted his citizens to cooperate fully with him, for if they assented, they would enjoy the same profit as he after death. If Prithu Maharaj as a perfect king were elevated to the heavenly planets, the citizens who cooperated by approving of his method would also be elevated with him. Since the Krishna consciousness movement going on at the present moment is genuine, perfect, and authorized, and is following in the footsteps of Prithu Maharaj, anyone who cooperates with this movement or accepts its principle will get the same result as the workers who are actively propagating Krishna consciousness. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Krupatamaham Vande Paramanand Madhum Shri Chaitanya Shri Guru Dintayana Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So Prithu Maharaj is giving further instructions and he is requesting to pure-hearted demigods, forefathers and saintly persons to support his proposal. So in those days, there were nice government and saintly kings, but this is the age of Kali Yuga. And what Prabhupada started is unimaginable. What he started is in the footsteps of Prithu Maharaj and saintly kings. Although it was in a small level, it increased and increased and increased. So people are adopting this Krishna conscious life, and in that way they are perfecting their lives. So Prabhupada started very nicely with young devotees who joined him very nicely, and seems like Krishna was sending all the devotees to him, and he trained them. And after training them, they would train other people also. So now you see the result of these expansions, and people are getting benefited, and they don't have to worry about next life, something less than human life. At least they will get the human life again, or they will be promoted to higher planetary system, and or they will go back home, back to God. But the idea is, we are so lucky that Prabhupada started this movement, and by following in his footsteps, we can perfect our life. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Panchatattva Prabhu.
But I was just reflecting on that, the last. This is text 26. The last sentence. Since the Krishna consciousness movement going on at the present moment is genuine, perfect and authorized, and is following the footsteps of Prita Maharaj, anyone who cooperates with this movement or accepts its principles will get the same result as the workers who are actively propagating Krishna consciousness. This is a very, very liberal statement. It's quite extraordinary. That means, anyone who's, think of how inclusive that is. Someone who says, "Oh, well, I can't do much. But I like what these Hare Krishna devotees are doing. Maybe I can give a donation and help them out with book distribution or something included." Or come to, oh, these devotees, they're chanting on the street. I like what they're doing. I'll come and dance for a little bit. Maybe I'll try to chant the mantra included.
All inclusive, yes.
Devotee walks up to you with a piece of burfi or something, you're not even knowing the value of it. You say, "Oh, what a nice thing this mantra's done. I will taste this." Included, all very inclusive, liberal. Yeah. Anyone who cooperates with this movement or accepts its principles. So someone may not even be able to, be able to do anything extraordinary. They may just really appreciate Krishna consciousness, say, this is the standard that I want to live up to, included.
Yes.
We can hardly comprehend the amount of mercy and benediction that's flowing out of the Hare Krishna movement worldwide. But it's a very wonderful thing. And in time, it will fructify. It will fructify. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, very nice. Who was that devotee who was going different places with gulab jambu and giving everybody? That was in London or something, or
I don't know. I don't know that story. Yeah, there have been devotees who've done this.
right. Okay.
I had an old associate in Detroit. We'd go to the airport for book distribution, and he would get so distressed when someone wouldn't take a book, but he always had something to come up with after their refusal, because so many people would refuse. They were just in a hurry, they didn't want to take, and so he would say, well, can you at least say Govinda?
Nice.
And sometimes they say, all right, Govinda.
Wow. That's
what devotees are like. They're just trying to find some way to, give some, because they know people are suffering.
Yeah, right.
And we don't want people to suffer, but they know what the real source of their suffering is, which is another thing entirely.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
It was I think I remember it was Shyam Sundar Prabhu.
Hmm.
He was going places and giving gulab jamun to the different devotees, even in the bar. He would go in the bar. It's amazing. Okay, let's see whom we have. Next one, Videhi. Can you able to read something? Okay. How about Shyam Sindhu Das?
Hare Krishna. Okay.
There you are, Shyam Sindhu.
Jai, Jai.
Haribo.
So, okay.
Number 27, yes.
Okay. Put on my headphones. Don't think that my speakers are good in here.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Text 27.
7.
Ashtiyagya patir nama keshanchid arhasatamaha iha mutra chalakshante jutsnavatya kvachid bhuva. My dear respectable ladies and gentlemen, according to the authoritative statements of Shastra, there must be a supreme authority who is able to award the respective benefits of our present activities. Otherwise, why should there be persons who are unusually beautiful and powerful both in this life and in the life after death? Purport. Prithu Maharaj's sole aim in ruling his kingdom was to raise the citizens to the standard of God consciousness. Since there was a great assembly in the arena of sacrifice, there were different types of men present, but he was especially interested in speaking to those who were not atheists. It has already been explained in the previous verses that Prithu Maharaj advised the citizens to become Adokshaja Diya, which means God conscious or Krishna conscious. And in this verse, he specifically presents the authority of Shastra, even though his father was a number one atheist who did not abide by the injunctions mentioned in the Vedic Shastras, who practically stopped all sacrificial performances, and who so disgusted the Brahmanas that they not only dethroned him, but cursed and killed him. Atheistic men do not believe in the existence of God, and thus they understand everything which is happening in our daily affairs to be due to physical arrangement and chance. Atheists believe in the atheistic Sankhya philosophy of the combination of Prakriti and Purush. They believe only in matter and hold that matter under certain conditions of amalgamation gives rise to the living force, which then appears as Purusha, the enjoyer. Then, by a combination of matter and the living force, the many varieties of material manifestation come into existence. Nor do atheists believe in the injunctions of the Vedas. According to them, all the Vedic injunctions are simply theories that have no practical application in life. Taking all this into consideration, Prithu Maharaj suggested that theistic men will solidly reject the views of the atheists on the grounds that there cannot be many varieties of existence without the plan of a superior intelligence. Atheists very vaguely explain that these varieties of existence occur simply by chance. But the theists who believe in the injunctions of the Vedas must reach all their conclusions under the direction of the Vedas. In the Vishnu Purana, it is said that the entire Varnashram institution is meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The rules and regulations set up for the execution of the duties of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, or Brahmacharis, Grihastas, Vanaprasthas, and Sannyasis, are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. At the present moment, although the so-called Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras have lost their original culture, they claim to be Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras by birthright. Yet they have rejected the proposition that such social and spiritual orders are especially meant for the worship of Lord Vishnu. The dangerous Mayavad theory set forth by Shankaracharya, that God is impersonal, does not tally with the injunctions of the Vedas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore described the Mayavadi philosophers as the greatest offenders against the personality of Godhead. According to the Vedic system, one who does not abide by the orders of the Vedas is called a Nashtik, or atheist. When Lord Buddha preached his theory of nonviolence, he was obliged to deny the authority of the Vedas, and for this reason he was considered by the followers of the Vedas to be a Nashtik. But although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very clearly enunciated that the followers of Lord Buddha's philosophy are Nashtikas, or atheists, because of their denial of the authority of the Vedas, he considered the Shankarites, who wanted to establish Vedic authority by trickery and who actually followed the Mayavad philosophy of Buddha's school, to be more dangerous than the Buddhists themselves. The Shankarite philosophers' theory that we have to imagine a shape of God is more dangerous than denial of the existence of God. Notwithstanding all the philosophical theorizing by atheists or Mayavadis, the followers of Krishna consciousness rigidly live according to the injunctions given in Bhagavad Gita, which is accepted as the essence of all Vedic scripture. In Bhagavad Gita 18.46, it is said, Yata pravartir bhutanam yena sarvam midam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. This indicates that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of everything, as described in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadyasya Yataha. The Lord himself also confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavaha. I am the origin of everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of all emanations. And at the same time, as Paramatma, he is spread all over existence. The Absolute Truth is therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and every living being is meant to satisfy the Supreme Godhead by performing his respective duty, swakarmana tam abhyarcha. Maharaj Prithu wanted to introduce this formula amongst his citizens. The most important point in human civilization is that while one engages in different occupational duties, he must try to satisfy the Supreme Lord by the execution of such duties. That is the highest perfection of life. Swanushtitasya dharmasya samshidhir haritoshanam. By discharging one's prescribed duty, one can become very successful in life if he simply satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The vivid example is Arjuna. He was a Kshatriya. His duty was to fight, and by executing his prescribed duty, he satisfied the Supreme Lord, and therefore became perfect. Everyone should follow this principle. The atheists who do not are condemned in Bhagavad Gita by the following statement, Tan aham dvisata kuran samshareshu naradaman. In this verse, it is clearly said that persons who are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the lowest of mankind and are very mischievous. Under the regulative principles of the Supreme, such mischievous persons are thrown into the darkest region of material existence and are born of Asuras, or atheists. Birth after birth, such Asuras go still further down, finally to animal forms like those of tigers or similar ferocious beasts. Thus, for millions of years, they have to remain in darkness without knowledge of Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Purushottam, or the best of all living entities. He is a person like all other living entities, but he is the leader or the best of all living beings. That is stated in the Vedas also. Nityo Nityananam Chaitanas Chaitananam. He is the chief of all eternals, the chief of all living entities, and he is complete and full. He has no need to derive benefit by interfering with the affairs of other living entities. But because he is the maintainer of all, he has the right to bring them to the proper standard so that all living entities may become happy. A father wants all of his children to become happy under his direction. Similarly, God, or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has the right to see that all living entities are happy. There's no possibility of becoming happy within this material world. The Father and the Sons are eternal, but if a living entity does not come to the platform of his eternal life of bliss and knowledge, there's no question of happiness. Although Purushottam, the best of all living entities, has no benefit to derive from the common living entity, he does have the right to discriminate between their right and wrong ways. The right way is the path of activities meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we have already discussed, Swanushthitasya Dharmasya Shamshithir Haritoshanam. A living entity may engage in any occupational duty, but if he wants to have perfection in his duties, he must satisfy the Supreme Lord. As such, one who pleases him gets better facilities for living, but one who displeases him gets involved in undesirable situation.
Yeah, we can
Is there-
stop because it's a very long purport.
Yes.
I don't want you to get too tired, so
It's amazing purport. I don't mind.
very interesting. But maybe you can pick out some points and elaborate a little bit, and then we can go further.
Om Jnanatinidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Devam Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prashayane Nirvishisha Shunyavadi Paschatideshatayane. There's a lot of points in here that were pretty interesting. I guess I'll just start with the first. But Prithu's Maharaj's sole aim in ruling his kingdom was to raise the citizens to the standard of God consciousness. I believe in the last one it said, it tries to make it effortless. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's quite incredible. A ruler, I think they say also, if anyone who's a father, mother, so on and so forth, should be able to get their dependent out of the cycle of birth and death. And it's elaborated, the job is to make it easy for people, to make it natural, where it's like hard to do the right thing, hard to do the wrong thing, easy to do the right thing. In Kali Yuga, it's extremely difficult to do the right thing. And it's almost like if you just do what feels natural, you're guaranteed living an extremely sinful life just by default. And I think about also, there was another purport we read. It says that, most people don't know these laws of karma. And you have a government that takes so much taxpayer money and doesn't teach them about any of the laws of karma, doesn't teach about basic morality. And then here we have a king who is strictly speaking according to Shastra, and you see black and white difference. It's the power of education in Shastra shows so clearly, this is what's missing. Education about not just laws of karma, but ultimately how to get purified and go back home to Godhead, since that's the real cure for all of the misery that's going on. So many people think if I elect another person, or Trump's so bad, or this person, that person, it's like, who cares? If someone you like gets elected, you die, you come back as a dog. It's not going to help you. And so I really, really like hearing about Prithu Maharaj, how he's operating. And I suppose also our sannyasis are like Jayādvaita Swami Maharaj, Devamrit Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada, obviously this is exactly what they do. They try to make it easy for us. Prabhupada bringing it down to 16 rounds, creating a whole way that people who really aren't qualified for devotional service can still get engaged. He's just following in the footsteps of Prithu Maharaj, and it's incredible.
Very nice.
There's also something about the Vedas. I think I read somewhere, I don't remember, someone can correct me, someone who's actually gone through the whole Bhagavatam. I believe it was Lord Rishabdev who said that the Vedas are his sound incarnation. Somewhere it says that the Vedas are the sound incarnation of the Lord. And so if someone doesn't want to follow the injunctions of Shastra, before I really didn't understand it, because I didn't really know the value of Shastra, but if the Shastra is the Lord, and you say, I don't want to follow those rules, then it's like you're kind of saying, I don't want to follow God, which is, of course, envy. And so, it's an atheist. It's like, I know you're God, but I think I got my own plan. It kind of makes you really think, oh, wait, you don't really believe in God, then because if you really understood what it means that this is God and that you're a part of him and you're eternally his servant, You can't say no to him. And so I found that interesting. Prabhupada kind of broke it down like that. And the Varnashram system too, goes into how we can get purified by our work. I realized, what Prithu Maharaj is doing is just what Krishna set up. Krishna sets up the system, but I suppose he doesn't get directly involved, so he leaves it up to his pure devotees, to implement his principles. He gives the rule book, the Vedas, the scriptures, but then he lets the devotees implement it and get the glory. Like he said, Arjuna, they're all already dead. I just want you to be an instrument. And so it's really cool. Oh, Krishna made the skeleton framework. These are the psychophysical natures that are there, and this is just what it is. And this is how society should be arranged around the different personality types. And then you see the perfect person implementing it perfectly, and it's quite cool. It's like, okay, this is what we get by following this process. We get the perfect process. We get the perfect guidebook to adapt it to different situations, time, place, circumstance, and we get the perfect examples. And like these were the points that I think I was really attached to, since it's such a stark contrast to the way that things are being run by our so-called leadership now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Very, very, very nice. Okay, maybe we can you can finish the purport. We have about 8 minutes, so yes, let's do that. Sham Sindhu Prabhu. It is there for concluded. Yes.
It is there for concluded that there are two kinds of duties: mundane duty and duty performed for the sake of yajna or sacrifice. Yagyarthat karma. Any karma activity one performs which is not for the purpose of yajna is a cause of bondage. Yagyarthat karma no nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. Bhagavad Gita 3.9. Karma bandhanaha, or the bondage of karma, is administered under the regulations of the stringent laws of material nature. Material existence is a struggle to conquer the impediments put forth by material nature. The Asuras are always fighting to overcome these impediments, and by the illusory power of material nature, the foolish living entities work very hard within this material world and take this to be happiness. This is called Maya. In that hard struggle for existence, they deny the existence of the supreme authority, Purushottam, the supreme personality of Godhead. In order to regulate the activities of the living entities, God has given us codes, just as a king gives codes of law and of state, and where breaks the law is punished. Similarly, the Lord has given the infallible knowledge of the Vedas, which are not contaminated by the 4 defects of human life, namely the tendency to commit mistakes, to be illusioned, to cheat, and to have imperfect senses. If we do not take direction from the Vedas but act whimsically according to our own choice, we are sure to be punished by the laws of the Lord, who offers different types of bodies in the 8.4 million species of life. Material existence, or the sense gratification process, is conducted according to the type of body we are given by Prakriti, or material nature. As such, there must be divisions of pious and impious activities, punya and pap. In Bhagavad Gita 7.28, it is clearly stated, Yesham twanta gatam papam jananam punya karmanam tedvanva moha nirmukta vajante mam dridavrataha. One who has completely surpassed the resultant activities of the impious path of life. This is possible only when one engages exclusively in pious activities. One can understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, one engages in the Lord's transcendental loving service. This life of engaging always in the loving service of the Lord is called adokshaja diya, or a life of Krishna consciousness, which King Prithu meant his citizens to follow. The different varieties of life and of material existence do not come about by chance and necessity. They are different arrangements made by the Supreme Lord in terms of the pious and impious activities of the living entity. By performing pious activities, one can take birth in a good family and a good nation, one can get a beautiful body, or one can become very well educated or very rich. We see, therefore, that in different places and in different planets, there are different standards of life, bodily features, and educational statuses, all awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to pious or impious activities. Varieties of life, therefore, develop not by chance, but by pre-arrangement. There is a plan which is already outlined in the Vedic knowledge. One has to take advantage of this knowledge and mold his life in such a way that at the end, especially in the human form of life, he may go back home back to Godhead by practicing Krishna consciousness. The theory of chance can best be explained in Vedic literature by the words agyata sukriti, which refer to pious activities performed without the actor's knowledge, but these are also planned. For example, Krishna comes like an ordinary human being. He comes as a devotee like Lord Chaitanya, or he sends his representative, the spiritual master, or pure devotee. This is also the planned activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They come to canvass and educate, and thus a person in the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord gets a chance to mix with them, talk with them, and take lessons from them. And somehow or other, if a conditioned soul surrenders to such personalities, and by intimate association with them chances to become Krishna conscious, he is saved from the material conditions of life. Krishna therefore instructs Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishami Ma Shuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. The word Sarva Papebhyaha means from all sinful activities. A person who surrenders unto him by utilizing the chance to associate with the pure devotee, spiritual master, or other authorized incarnations of Godhead, like Prithu Maharaj, is saved by Krishna. Then his life becomes successful.
Thank you very much, Shyam Sindhu Prabhu. And
Let's welcome His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami, who's come.
Oh yeah, Maharaj is here. Oh my goodness, right.
Hi.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Sorry to be late. Hare Krishna.
No, Maharaj, we're just happy there to see you. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Shyam Sindhu Prabhu, thank you for your long purport. And we can easily say that Prabhupada coming to the West was not a chance. It was actually Krishna's arrangement. By this purport, we can say that. Thank you. So I'm going to call for Krishna Kante Prabhu for Kirtan, please. Oh, before I say, Maharaj, do you want to say anything? Please.
Thank you. Thank you for carrying on. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gora, Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo, Nitai Gora, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo, Nitai Gora Premanande Hari Haribo, Mam Vishnu Pad Brahmansa, Prabhupada Jagatari, Jajara, Srimad, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananda Gopti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Siddhartha Sagar, Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna, Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Go, Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, all glories to the Son of the devotees, all glories to the Son of the devotees, all glories to the Son of the devotees, Jai Sri Guru and Guranga, Guru Das Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Hare Krishna.
Okay, so now Banali Ghosh, you have a hands up. You want to ask something to Maharaj?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So I had a question. So when we come to this world, so as a baby, we start doing all the actions and reaction starts since we come to this world. So are we already pre-programmed what we are to do for the Lord? Or, and then we defy and go to a different path? Or is it that we are not pre-programmed, we have to form that path? Make sense, like what I'm trying to say?
Let's see. Whether we're, to what extent are we pre-programmed before we, at the time we take birth? Yes, we have our background of past karma, so then we get a particular body. I don't get the body of, like, I get a rich body or a poor body or a this kind of body, or the male body, female body, American body, German body, Indian body, according to my previous activities. And I also bring my background of past devotional service or past pious activities. Krishna says, Parva Abhyasena Tainaiva Riyate Yavasho Pisaha. By dint of one's past progress in devotional service, one becomes attracted again. Yes, what is this? Hare Krishna, let me find out about this. Let me take to this. So that's there. Not that we come as blank slates. That's not a fact. We come with our past, but still, it's up to us what to make of what we're given. Someone's born in a good family, but he can misuse the good fortune. That also. Or born in a poor family, but still some good fortune, and he makes use of it. Or by good fortune, beyond his control, he meets devotees, or he gets a book, or hears the chanting. So there's a certain amount that's there as past background, but then there's also opportunities for further good fortune. And there's still choice. What will I do with what's been given to me? That's up to me. I still have tiny independence. Is that all right?
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. And I would like to thank Krishna Konte Prabhu for your nice kirtan. Hare Krishna. And thank you, Maharaj, for joining. Nice to see you. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hare
Haribo, Haribo.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. Krishna Kantiya.
Hare Krishna.